veterans really take a step up, especially the offensive guys, T.J. Jones and George Atkinson, Troy Nicholas, Zach Martin. A lot of those guys you can just see a higher level of confidence on their part in the way that they go out there and do their job. Defensively, certainly we're a defense that has a lot of really good parts, but last year at this time the defense was so far ahead of the offense. This year it's a balance, and on defense you better come ready to play every day because there's some pretty good pieces on the offensive side of the ball. So I think the teams complement themselves quite well on the first day, and we got a lot of good work. Questions?
Brian, we don't get to see you in action in practice very much. It seems like you were in quiet observation mode that first 30 minutes. Is that pretty routine, or is that kind of a product of year 4, returning staff? You can kind of back off.
It's probably both. What I wanted to do is get around and observe some of our injured players and see what they look like coming back for the first time. I wanted to see some of our younger players. And so for the first 2-3 days, and probably until we get into next week, I want to be able to float around and have a real good sense and feel for some of our players that we're counting on to be in key roles for us.
It looked like Elmer and maybe Kona.
Yeah, Elmer was sick. I got a text this morning at 3. He had a lower digestive. He had diarrhea. You guys won't print it anyway, so. But he was not feeling well. So I got a text from Rob this morning about 3 o'clock. We kept him away. Kona was flying standby from Hawaii and missed class on Monday. He had some makeup work to do. But he got in after you guys had left. He came back. But he flies standby. His mom works for American Airlines, and he missed a day, so I needed him to do some makeup work.
And then Tua was on the mic today. What's going on with him?
Yeah, he had a procedure done too. He had a sports hernia, so we went in there and they did some work on him. He feels great. We'll probably get him the latter end of spring ball, but he had a bit of a the last half of the season he really struggled with it, and he fought through it, but it was something that needed to be repaired, and so that was done before spring break. And again, it's usually a 4-week process. We're going to be in week 2, so we think we'll get him back for the last couple of weeks.
When you say get him back?
Oh, practicing, yeah. He's already moving really well. He feels so much better. He had some restriction in that it's groin, hip flexor area where he was really restricted and really running out. And so we said, you know what, let's get it done. Let's not wait on it. It's something that we may have managed, but we want to get him 100%.
Brian, you said you observed the injured players and the younger players. What did you see?
I like the way Low Wood looked. Obviously competition at the cornerback position's always good for your team. I like the way he looked. I think Collinsworth moved the ball very well. He's a smart player, and it's good to have a veteran player with a lot of smarts and can play a number of positions for us. So I was looking at those guys in particular. Offensive line, there's nobody there, other than Ronnie is moving very well. We're not doing much because of his elbow, and then the young guys. I wanted to get a chance to look at CJ today. Really liked his explosiveness. I think the guy of all the injured guys that stands out to me was Amir Carlisle. He's got a gear. He's got a high level where he's really going to be able to help us.
And do you intend you had Stanley at left tackle, I presume Elmer's going to be at right tackle?
Yeah, I think that's probably the way it would pan out, but I think we would, we're going to obviously give those guys a chance to play both right and left, and find out who can be a potential starter, who can be a backup, where that ends up. But I wouldn't peg them, but that's where they would start.
Coach Springman seemed really well, and he's listed as slimmed down quite a bit. Is that pretty much he's moving defensive end? He used to help you out at kind of both spots.
He's still a guy that we can move inside if we need to. but certainly we wanted him to be able to, play that 4 technique. We think he's perfect for it. He's got great reach and size, and believe he can do a really nice job for us.
And Romeo's lineup with the Cats is not really a major surprise, but is that kind of where you want to see him moving here for?
Yeah, again, you got to remember with the cat position, you're going to put your hand down 47% of the time. So it just depends on how you look at that. Well, it's actually the other way. It's 52, 3 down, 40, whatever it is, 48 the other way. So again, when you're looking at him, you're seeing him. Maybe he's he's standing up all the time, but he'll put his hand down too.
How much is special teams gonna be a part of spring, and do you still have to wait for some of the people coming in June to have the right personnel on the field for some of the special teams?
Well, I think we'll definitely get some depth out of it, but here's what I know. When I'm standing on the sideline for the national championship game, and we're ready to kick off, and Alabama's got 11 starters on kickoff return. Kickoff return, which nobody wants to be on kickoff return. So they've got 11 starters on it. So the emphasis for us in this spring is to really embrace their roles. I want starters to be part of our special teams units, and so the spring really is for us to integrate frontline guys into ST, and that kind of decision has to come from me. And so I've made that, and we're going about in the spring to really put our best players on ST.
Would that go for a kickoff returner as well?
It would go for all of those things. Every single position is going to have the best players that we can get on there. And we're going to make them compete for those positions.
What prevented you from doing that in the past?
Depth, injuries, you're running guys down there that are so central and critical. But now that we've been able to build some depth on both sides of the ball, I believe that we can move more towards getting our frontline guys out there.
Does that mean that the depth, you'll have the second line guys play a couple downs just to give the first guy?
Yeah, you'll need both. You'll need some depth, and I think that we're starting to accumulate some depth at those positions that we're not afraid to put a number of different guys out there if they need a blow on defense or if they need a blow on offense. As I told them, they're not going to take a blow on special teams. So if you want to sit out a series or a few plays on defense, that's up to you. But we're going to get our personnel on the field in special situations as well, special teams.
Brian, I wouldn't imagine you could practice any of it, but do you start to emphasize some of the new rules, like the new spike rule, the 10-second injury runoff, the ejection for dangerous hits? Do you talk to your team about that? Is that something you wait a while?
We talked Monday about some of the rule changes. One of them is, which we can talk about a lot. The 10-second runoff is something that we'll have to create in camp. But certainly the blocking below the waist and targeting with the helmet are really going to be the two that I think you're going to see a focus on. The other ones are specialty situations. So we talk to our players about, look, the helmet is, you cannot lead with the helmet, and we all know which way it's going. The NFL is already talking about offensive players not being able to use their helmet at the running back position. So it's a conversation we've had already, and we'll have to continue to build on.
Frank, you pretty much got through last season with 2 cornerbacks, and you mentioned Lowood, and you have Jalen Brown and some others. And ideally,
Bennett Jackson,
you substituted freely at your other positions. Ideally, what would you like? What kind of rotation would you like at cornerback?
Well, I think that you want to be able to play nickel and dime. We couldn't even get into dime last year. We couldn't put 4 potential corners on the field. So it just opens up your defensive playbook a little bit more to match up. So if you're going to go 4 wides, Oklahoma, for example, would be a great example where we had to keep Danny on the field. Just Danny Spahn did a great job, but we would have liked to play more nickel and dime. It just gives us more flexibility, and knowing that those guys will get a chance to play more because we've got guys that we trust that can play for us, every single down.
Coach, we saw Daniel Smith on the inside today a little bit slot. Is that going to be a move he's going to make, or do you like him on the outside?
No, that's just as you know, we like Danny with his size, but we also like his ability to block. So, moving him around closer to the ball gives us a bigger body if we're having a hard time. Let's say matching up against a bigger guy like a Danny Spahn. If you put a slot that's not as big, he could get overwhelmed. So Danny gives us the flexibility where we can move him inside, and he can really do a nice job in playing a will linebacker or a dog backer in that sense.
Brian, jumping back to Amir, is he kind of in Theo's role, and do you see a situation where you would play Amir and George or Amir and another back together?
No, I definitely can see us playing both Amir and another back at the same time. Yeah, because he's got the ability to play. He's a very good pass catcher. He's got good ball skills. I can see us, getting him the football in a number of different ways with another running back on the field.